Well, map number one, game number one here on the Alpha Stream tonight. It was a hot 3-0 sweep for the side of UTA Blue over the Oklahoma State Cowboys. However, that has passed us, and ever since then, we've been kind of recuperating ourselves, and I'm sure you've been doing the exact same. It's been a minute since we spoke. However, we're back here for game number two. My name is McCormick. Alongside myself is Cambert. We're here for match number two on the Alpha Stream tonight. We'll be here for one more at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But more importantly, we got to talk about this game at hand. The USD Coyotes, that's the University of South Dakota, going up against the Iowa Hawkeyes, University of Iowa. We've got 5 maps, a best-of-5 series. Raid, Hardpoint, Garrison S&D, Garrison Control, Crossroads Hardpoint, and Raid Search and Destroy. And Cambert, you know what the best thing about this is, and the best good news that we've heard all year long? This might be the very last time we see Garrison S&D in a best-of-5 series here in the CCL.
I tell you what, I certainly hope so, right? I think I speak for everyone when I say that I hope this is the last time I have to watch Garrison Search and Destroy this year, because without smokes, without snipers, there's just not a lot you can do on the map. You're just, both teams are right in front of each other. It's like, who's going to be the first one to shimmy off their shoulder and take the first challenge and die? That's basically what decides every round. So we'll get to that one eventually. Raid Hardpoint, though, hopefully, obviously, will be here to stay because everybody likes that map for sure. I think the changes that we're going to see next week are great all around. Apocalypse is a lot of fun to watch. From the scrims I've seen so far, I think the changes to Crossroads, although probably had to happen in some ways, just aren't necessarily working out. So I think that map going is also going to be a positive from me. But either way, I think we got another great series on our hands here. Hopefully we can kind of have more expectedness in this one, because last time, I mean, we were just like, what are we even watching at this point? You got ninja diffuses, guys getting plants off with 4.95 seconds, it felt like. But at this one, I think the player I'm going to be watching for the USD is going to be Spark. Last week, he played in a match that I casted, and this guy, I thought he was using a tactical insertion because he was behind enemy lines. Every single play, it felt like somehow he was shooting someone in the back. So I think if you're Iowa, got to pay attention to Spark. Don't let him run freely on the map and get into some of those great positions that he was in last week. But this one's another one that's really anybody's ball game. We know, like we talked about, the intensity really ramping up here as we get towards the latter part of the season. So I'm just looking forward to another great match. You have to think everybody's throwing everything out there, all the marbles on the table today, and I'm sure it's going to prove to be a great one.
Well, hope so. I really do hope so. I mean, hell, even if we do see the unexpectedness we did see in that last best-of-5 series here on the Alpha Stream, I'll be okay with that too, because that was one of the most fun series that I've been able to cast over. That was a 3-0. Like, even though the first map was relatively close, the S&D, it was a blowout. But still, one of those maps where you're just sitting there and you have to, after every single round, just take a deep breath, exhale, and move on to the next one after you don't know what the hell you just saw. We had a ninja fuse. We had Ring Around the Rosie in a 1-versus-1. We had a guy run from the A/S&D site that was basically wide open all the way over to B in a 1-versus-1 after killing the first person in a 1-versus-2 to get the bomb down and then clutch the 1-versus-2. I mean, if you were looking at Codcaster at that point, you were saying, "Oh my God,
there's no way."
That off? He literally got it out like 4.9 seconds, or at least it seemed on Codcaster, but he was able to get it off with like a half a millisecond left before it went off. So again, S&D is great, but Hardpoint's even more spectacular in terms of how close we can really get, and really just a lot of action down to the wire. This map specifically has produced a lot of great Hardpoint games. It's produced a lot of fun and close series, no matter where game mode you're playing on. And well, Cambert, I don't think you can disagree with this point. We're probably going to get back to the rotation of point number 5 to point number 1, and that's really where we're probably going to end this map.
Yeah, that's oftentimes what it comes down to, that wire-to-wire game that we always see on Raid. It's one where both teams have an opportunity to really string together some hills and extend a lead. Rotations, like you mentioned, are absolutely massive. You go all the way from garage to basketball. That's a big one, but also the timing of when you want to make some of these rotations. If you get kills in the latter part of a hard point, you can really spawn someone out across the map. Yeah. A lot of mind games that can be played on this one. It's one that you can really frustrate an opponent. Like I say, if you're in the kitchen hill and you pick up a kill with 5 or 10 seconds left, depending on where your team is, you can be spawning them in that back spawn where they have to make a full length of the map run, which can only frustrate you if that's you being spawned in that location. So we have to pay attention to those kind of things. But you're right, it is always one that we usually see go down to the wire. It's always a close match between both teams. And I think, again, here today, 2 middle-of-the-pack squads in terms of the standings. And like we mentioned, how much is on the line now that we're in split 2, I have to think, again, this could be one that goes all the way down the distance.
Well, not only that, but I mean, you look at the side of the USD Coyotes coming into this 7-4 overall inside of CCL Season 3. For the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes, 6-5. One game separates these two teams in the overall standings inside of in split 2 in the top cut. They're 7th and 8th in the division currently. So again, you said mid-pack teams. That's really realistically what they are. A couple of wins can either boost them all the way up to the top, or it can demote them all the way back down to the bottom, or they're getting a worse seed in towards of that relegational period where we talk about that regional qualifier. And the thing about it is too, right? When you do look at this regional qualifier, it's not just, okay, we want to get to the top 4 in our top cut to automatically make playoffs. It's, okay, if we don't make that top 4, we still want to be at the most optimal seed for us, because depending on where you are at the end of split 2, when we do get to that regional qualifier, when you're at the 5th seed in the top cut, or rather 5th in the standings in the top cut, you're going to get that 5th seed going into the regional qualifier. And if you're the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th seed, you are going to have that first round bye in the qualifier for the regional qualifier. So basically the way it works, folks, is in split 2, you have a top and a bottom cut. There's 12 teams in the top cut, 12 teams in the bottom cut, and for, I believe it is Mid-America, North Central, and Coastal, there are only 10 teams in each of the 2 cuts because they have less teams overall inside of those regions and divisions. So just so basically for your understanding, the top and the bottom cut, 12 and 12. Think of it being there, okay, in the top cut, really it's the most important part to be. You have 4 teams at the top of that cut who are going to automatically make it to playoffs. The rest of those 8 teams inside of the top cut, they are going to be moved on into that next regional qualifier. In the bottom cut, 4 teams are, and the only 4 teams out of the top part of that bottom cut are going to be making it into the regional qualifier. So when you're talking about the top cut teams, it's very confusing. I know.
Trying to write it all down.
It's very confusing. But once you see it kind of like a grabbing, once you kind of just like look at it in general, you'll kind of understand. So if you do want to go see that entire breakdown video, you can go to the College COD Twitter and look at I Hold Shift, break that entire thing down with a nice fancy graphic for you and everything like that. But realistically speaking, if you're not the top 4 teams in the top cut, and your bottom 8, you're going to be going into the qualifier, and then wherever you are standings-wise, that is going to be your seeds for those 12 teams inside of that. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you. It didn't to me the first time I watched the video, and it didn't make it to a lot of people at first, but when you actually see it and break it down, it is a very, very fair system, and it rocks, and it looks very, very well. So, Cambert, back to game number 1 here after that entire abomination of an explanation.
With McCornmeal. Yeah, I mean, I think the more and more you get used to it, it starts to make more sense. The visuals really do it justice. Go over to the website, go watch the video. That'll make it you'll really start to understand it then. But I think the key thing is if you're in the top 4, you get a bye right into the playoffs. And then after that, like you said, seeding is where it starts to come into play.
Yep.
And for both teams, like any team, you're going to want to be the higher seed so you can kind of win the vetoes, pick the maps you're more comfortable with. And I mean, speaking of which, USD, their map and mode in particular is going to be Hardpoint. That's where they've had the most success. And that's where we will go first. It'll be Raid Hardpoint to start. You have to give them the upper hand going into this one. But we talk about how everything is on the line here today. It's in split 2. Both teams are going to be playing with everything they have in their arsenal. You have to think the Iowa Hawkeyes are coming out ready. And last match, the first match we saw on stream, it was really just a difference of one team coming out more prepared and the other team coming out on a sleeper. So we'll see which team has drank their G Fuel before this one.
All right, well, let me ask you this real quick. You had a great hot take in series number 1 here on the stream.
Yeah.
Any more hot takes going into this best of 5 series?
Oh boy. All I'm going to say is if the Coyotes will win the control because of Spark, I guarantee he makes big plays in the control, but I think overall the series prediction, it's tough. I think it go either way because of what's at stake. I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to 4 maps and it's going to be USD winning it. That's just, again, probably wide left of the point.
Well, Cambert, there it is. The predictions for this entire best of 5 series. He didn't give exactly what maps each team is going to win, except that the Coyotes are going to win that control. So you know what? We'll see if it rocks. We'll see if it stands. Thus far, though, it has been the side of the Coyotes just getting a bit of an upper hand advantage in point number 1. The Hawkeyes have those rotations over towards P2, in towards the kitchen. Franchise with that kill over toward the left side, and his teammate there potentially for the trade, and Drewski is there. Chickens go moo. 0-2 thus far. Looking to go ahead and make those chickens squeal a little bit.
Maybe he likes the Chick-fil-A, a little Chick-fil-A sauce. And how about this? The rotation here to P2, all coming through the backside. Bubs is going to have an awakening call as he sees 4 players in his sights. they're going to go ahead and swarm on through. They're going to get just one last player alive in the back to throw the wrench in the side of this setup, and it's a huge position for Drewski to be in. He's going to have to be the one to make a play on the backside. Freeze trying to hold things down at the front. His players start to funnel in. Cramps on the pinch. Don't let that happen.
Well, you gotta kill at least one of them. If you're gonna make the flank, pick one and stick to it. You try to shoot both players. Maybe you think you got the one weak, or you killed the player, you put enough bullets in. You gotta finish a kill at least right there. A little bit of turn and burn already as we're getting towards the kitchen. They've got a freezer in there. It's a bit of a freezer burn there on the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes. They held that down for at least the beginning of the time, and you know that initial push from the side of Coyotes, it didn't work well for them. They only were left with one player after a team kill and a couple of kills went towards the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And well, there's another situation where another Iowa Hawkeyes player has another 1 versus 2 and isn't able to get the first kill. However, it's not as bad. It wasn't a turn on burn. He did have the position though to go ahead and start. 5 seconds ticked off the clock thus far. Hawkeyes have the rotations. The Coyotes looking to break into the backside.
Yeah, fortunate not to spawn on the complete other side of the map. Drewski here in a big spot trying to create the opening. He's going to find a couple kills to start, but these players in such power positions on the hill, they're going to be able to clean up the kills when they try to break on through. Iowa starting to make their way back into this game after that first set of hardpoint. And all of a sudden, they're stringing it together here. It's a difficult break right now for USD. Chickens trying to make the cows go moo here. He finds a kill over by Zig. But it's just not easy to break on through as Iowa continues to be in the power positions. They're going to hold on to the hill. 20 seconds left. Now it doesn't even matter. It's a good time to die if you're Iowa. Now you spawn over by basketball court, and you're in a good position to get a setup in place.
Number towards the water. Franchise there to find the first kill. 9-5 here inside of game number 1. Not to be bested, though, by his teammate Drewski at 10-5. Franchise trying to push over towards the back here, looking for the first kill on to Not Toxic. Finds the first, Freeze finds the trade, and Bubs is there to go ahead and pick up 2 Coyotes players. So that's going to be a 73-73 tie right now. Level-headed Iowa Hawkeyes will go ahead and take the lead, or at least it looked like they were going to take the lead for a moment. But as the fights were going down towards the back, it was the front side and the water staircase that really we had to go ahead and turn our attention to, because it was the side of the Coyotes who go ahead and break on through. However, the retake trying to come through. Crayons will go ahead and fall. Chickens go moo, the last one alive. There is Drewski finds 2 on the map. They're going to have control here, the last one alive for the Hawkeyes. And play number 6 and Freeze will get taken down towards the top cutout. Right now, the Coyotes, although they've been pushing for scrap time a lot of the time, they've shown one thing to me, and that's that they can break hills pretty much at any time, no matter where the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes are set up.
Yeah, Iowa has the rotations there at the start of the basketball hill, but it doesn't matter. The Coyotes are able to get the break. Now they're going to get in the lead. They're going to get this final 10 seconds. We rotate over to P5, where again, it's going to be in favor of the Hawkeyes, but can it be another break? 2 kills through for the Coyotes. They're making it happen in a difficult way. 15-6 for Drewski. He finds another there from Kitchen. All of a sudden, you got players funneling in from different directions. It's not going to be easy for the Hawkeyes, but they're on top of it right now. Toxic finds another kill. He's trying to make the read under Franchise. Bad timing. We've got players in the point right now, soaking up the time. All of a sudden, here come the Hawkeyes now. They're trading blows on the hill. Franchise is going to be the only one alive as he looks for a player to shoot at. Finds Crayons. Chicken's there to help. It's just an all-out bloodbath here at P5.
Here's the thing. Coyotes, they had an opportunity to break there, and they did. If the player from the side of the Coyotes does not run out of ammo right there in Franchise, well, maybe they're able to find that kill and, more importantly, find the rest of that time there inside of P5. However, another break tries to come through. The contest is in, but no one is there to ring home. The cows do not come home. The chickens don't come home to roost. The USD Coyotes, they go ahead and set up all the way over towards that point number 1. Player number 3 and player number 7 in a huge one-on-one gunfight. But however, as Freeze goes ahead and finds the trade there from the pillars, it's going to be the rest of the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes now pushing up. Drewski's going to fall. Freeze now on a 2-spree, looking to go ahead and extend this a little bit further as he's now pushing up into the USD Coyotes spawn side to try and go ahead and get spawns for the kitchen. Gotta be careful there. You gotta hit those shots.
Gotta hit your shots. As we get to the next set of rotations, it's a deadlocked tie between these two teams, so not really deciding anything through the first set. We'll see if anything changes here as we go back around the rosy for one more. Chickens go move, playing his life, finally going to fall to Toxic. And so far, the first 30 seconds have been all in favor of the Hawkeyes, starting to string it together. It's a hill that you're not typically meant to get a whole lot of points on. They're changing that narrative right now. They've already got themselves 40 seconds. Finally, Franchise going to try to make a contest, but it doesn't matter because Bubs is there as well. Huge stuff from the Hawkeyes as the rotation comes through to Kitchen. It's really anybody's ball game, but right now you got Crayons home waiting on that.
On board with Sparks Slays over the top. Franchise will have some help. Tags the shots up. Trophy system will go down. He'll look back over towards the pillars and middle map. Crayons and Kitchen looking for Sparks Blaze as he starts to push up. He'll find one, and the rest of his teammates basically find a kill apiece. Drewski will find two. Looks for the third as well. Almost able to find it. However, he'll end up falling once again. So the Hawkeyes, they had the rotation towards P2 on the last set of hills. They have it once again here on the second set of hard points. The biggest thing, though, is can the Coyotes break in? They broke through the front door with about 30 seconds left. Last time, thus far, they haven't been able to do so. You gotta recognize that the trophy systems are out there. I get its reflex at this point just to throw the stun and throw the Semtex over the top as well, but if you don't find that first one and see it blown up, I don't know why you go ahead and waste that second bit of utility as well. Bubs is there, finds the first, not able to find Franchise. Contest is there, Franchise through the front door. They're open to Mickey D's in the kitchen. They're in. They're holding a little bit of time. 20 seconds left, and they're gatekeeping them from crossing that halfway point on the map.
Hungry for some kills, and the kitchen's going to be the place to get your fix. As finally, the Hawkeyes will break back on through. Although they maybe don't get a full 60 there, they do get a solid hold. They win that second hill. All of a sudden, their lead goes up to about 60 points. Make it 70 now as we rotate over to Garage. It's not looking good for the Coyotes. Fortunately for them, they have the rotation set in stone. Can they make it worth their while? It's going to be a flip side here. Hawkeyes will be the one trying to make the break. Crayons finds one. You got the player back by the van in a difficult spot to get a kill. He will fall as well. This is the opening the Hawkeyes are looking for, but you still have to deal with Drewski on the hill. He's got three big-time stuff for the Coyotes. He's going to keep this hill alive.
Not with a sniper, but with the SMG in hand. A 4 on there. A quad feed in the chat for the little bit of Drewski. Sparks Blaze is there trying to find the shot, but isn't able to find it. Franchise trying to best his teammate, as we said beforehand, and is able to do it with 3 thus far. One more, and they'll squad wipe the entire team, just as Drewski did a moment ago. But every time you sit in the hill for a little bit longer, you're going to go ahead and acquire points in a more exponential status. What do I mean by that? Basically, beforehand, it was just you could hop out of the hill, you could hop back in and get 50 points every time another team was able to get it. This time, though, you're rewarded for staying in the hill for even longer without any contests coming through, because that allows you to get even more towards your streaks in terms of pointage. Over the top, Sparks Blaze is there, isn't able to find the kill or shots onto the trophy to take it down, and Kranz is there from the water steps to go ahead and find that player. 210, 185. This game is nowhere yet to close. However, Drewski still in a force 3, looking around towards that back to try and make this flank happen once again. He's been doing it all game long. Franchise here and towards the point. Sparks Blaze finds 2, another one there. It's going to be not Toxic, though, who goes ahead and finds those 2 towards the front. Freeze is there. No players on a streak except for the lonely Not Toxic in towards the point. 25 seconds will get them the win. They've got enough time to win off this hill as well. 2 players pushing from the front, and it could be the very last push here from the side of the Coyotes. It's in. The contest is there. No kills come through except for the team kill from the Iowa Hawkeyes. Can they win off this point through that lonely last tick? It's very, very possible, but it's going to come down to the wire here.
Looks like there's going to be at least one more rotation to P5. You give the Coyotes credit. They're just going to barely be able to squeak out one more hill on this. But the Hawkeyes just need 3 points. Bubs tries to go through kitchen. Franchise is there to slow down the push. The streaks come through. Those are going to be huge for the Hawkeyes. This could be the deciding factor here as 2 come through from the artillery. Toxic looking for the third. It's Franchise trying to just get on the hill and close this one out. There comes the kill. It's a 2 for Toxic, but the team nade will slow it down. Not too slow there for the Hawkeyes, though. They come out and win map 1, 250 to 186. Big time plays, and the streaks come in crucial.
Plays, calculations, but most importantly, holds on points. The Hawkeyes, it didn't look like they had the best advantage there at the beginning of the game, as it was the Coyotes who were able to break basically every setup that the Hawkeyes had. However, towards the end of that game, we saw a common theme. The Hawkeyes, they rotated early, they got out in front of their teammates, got out in front of the opponents, and they kept themselves 2 steps away from the side of the USD Coyotes, even though they'd go ahead and maybe find a little bit of a trade back and forth there so often on the map for a little bit of time. And really, also the theme for the side of the Coyotes was pushing for a lot of scrap time. I don't know if you noticed that a lot, but, there'd be 25, maybe 20 seconds left on the hill, and you'd still see the Coyotes looking to try and manage and grab that time. Is that a problem of not getting out and rotating, or is that just overconfidence and thinking that you can get the scrap time and be able to break the opponent, especially after what you've been doing the entire game that far?
Yeah, I think it's just a lack of rotating, and you really just got a prime example from the Hawkeyes of how much easier a map can be when you are thinking a step ahead, when you are rotating. You have the setup in place. It's the other teams who's forced to break. It's not easy to do. It's a lot of the power positions that you're able to stand on. You get on a head glitch with a QBZ, you're going to be difficult to kill, and you saw it there pay off for them. They're the ones who get to garage first. They're the ones who get to basketball court. Sure, the Coyotes get some breaks, and that's not easy to do. You have to give them credit there. But overall, it's always going to be easier to be the team rotating to the next hard point to get your setup down and hold on to that. You don't have to worry so much about picking up 2-3 pieces like we saw Drewski doing, but even still, you saw how in the end, it just wasn't enough. Hawkeyes managed the map better. That's how they get the win in there on Raid Hardpoint, and they're off to a hot start here in this series.
250 to 186 is your map number 1 score, and that leads us basically to a farewell and goodbye. I mean, hopefully, it's possible. I probably should check to see what our last series map set is going to be on this, just to make sure that
well, we got it for the control.
Going to be okay. So no, we're not going to be seeing an S&D in our next best of 5 series with Garrison. So for myself here on CCL, since I'm not going to be on stream tomorrow, this is my farewell map to Garrison. Goodbye. See you later. However, we got to get through it first. So let's talk about the map a little bit. The hardest map to play in S&D in terms of getting map control, it's all about getting those first bloods. If you want to push a bomb site, you're going B. If you try to go A, you better get mid-map control first, because there's no way in hell you're getting out towards that top satellite unless your other team just can't shoot straight or their monitors are turned off.
Right. Go ahead and kiss it goodbye. And it's definitely one that is not difficult to do. But you're right. It is one where first bloods are absolutely massive on this map because it's so difficult to find space to make anything happen, especially if you're a submachine gun player. So if you can get the first kill down, that should be an opportunity to find some more room to roam free around the map. But, I mean, there's just not a lot of flanking opportunities. There's not a lot of versatility in terms of the bomb sites you can go to. You're typically going to be going to B. If you want to go to A, you're pretty crazy. All credit to you. Go ahead and try it. We'll love to watch it and cast it, but it's probably not going to work out for you. So it's 1-2 where you really have to pay attention to the low life situations once it gets to 2v2, 2v3. That's maybe when you have an opportunity as the offensive team to win a round. You'll have to play clutch. You'll have to come up big. But it's really going to be trading defenses. Whichever team can find 1, maybe 2 offensive round wins is probably going to be the team winning it. But defense is so huge on this map. Yeah. That's, I guess, what we have to pay attention to, and hopefully it's the last time we ever see it.
Well, it's a common theme here. Garrison, S&D, Garrison control. The defensive side is just so important, and it's just better in really every aspect as you go down the list of different check boxes. It's better for defense for being able to hold map control over towards the halfway point. It's better for being able to hold the green side of the map to where you can't push out over towards AS&D or over towards the A bomb site either. I mean, there's so many more to go down the list of, and really, realistically, when you have a map that isn't a true 3-lane map in competitive Call of Duty, it doesn't allow for a lot of variability. You have to basically go to the same spots every single round, so you know where those opponents are going to be. The problem is winning those one-on-one gunfights, and if the team does play a little bit more unorthodox or maybe a little bit slower, and you do get a bit overzealous on some of your challenges that you make over towards maybe on the offensive side over towards the brick side or maybe over towards lights, you can pay, very unfortunately, a lot of amounts for taking those gunfights, because you could realistically just end up with your body being buried 6 feet under the map and back to the respawn block once again. And that's what Garrison is. Garrison is a map of give and take, and how much are you willing to give? How much are you willing to take? And it's a battle of attrition all the way down to the end. We're going to see which team has the upper hand advantage, which team has the more stamina here on Garrison S&D. Like I said before, though, Cambert, a farewell, an au revoir.
Yeah, we might need to get proper to do a little narration video again and give it an official goodbye as we jump back into it. I mentioned the power positions too. Really got to pay attention to those on this map. Without flank routes, without opportunities to get behind your enemy, you really kind of just have to post up on a head glitch, like Bubs is doing here to start us off.
The lonely Bubs bobbing up and down, looking for that first play. Freeze is going to challenge out for a second, but wraps back and just goes ahead and looks away. You see on the map here, though, the Hawkeyes, they're just playing a little bit slow for the time being, and that's really what you're going to see on pretty much every single offense. Sparks lays down below and towards the vent looking for a player. Freeze, it looks like he might go ahead and hop down. Oh, franchise! There's no smoke there. You're not losing aim assist, bud. You're just not missing. You're just not hitting your shots. But as Freeze goes ahead and takes down Sparks, that's a huge one-on-one gunfight that, that could have been the equalizer. That's the difference between a 4 versus 4 and a 3 versus 3. Now it's a 4 versus 2 as the Hawkeyes go ahead and after map number 1, they're going to go ahead and potentially win round number 1 here. The bomb is going to go down over towards B. Toxic just waiting and playing his life back over towards bottom tank. Franchise gets the kill, but is traded out immediately by Bubs. Now a 1 versus 3. Chickens go moo. Can he go ahead and clutch up for the squad? Not a rooster. It's not going to be It's going to be I don't know what that was, but you know what? We'll go with it. I was going to say something, but you know what? It's one of those things that sounds better in your head than coming out of your
Is that
mouth.
what a chicken sounds like to you?
You know, it's one of those things. But it's not a chicken; it's a rooster.
It's
but,
a rooster, yeah. Well, unable to make the chickens move that round, and it was a difficult situation to be in. Franchise, though, at the beginning there in that exciting moment, unable to get the first kill, and it really opened things up for the offense to go ahead and take some map control. Crayons gets into lights. He's able to take a kill off of, I believe, Drewski there, which really opened things up even more. All of a sudden, that's a huge first round for the Hawkeyes. You win an offense like I talked about there before we started. That's key because defense on this map is so easy to win. Now we'll have to see if the Coyotes can come back out and get an offense of their own.
Well, as you can see,
You got me
very
laughing, man.
long countdown timer, about 30 seconds to be exact. And
Really a lot of time to strategize.
No, truly it is. Honestly, I mean, that's if you're on one of the teams that set it to 30 seconds, you know, the other team like, oh my god, you know, why do they set it to 30 seconds? If you're on the team that set it to 30 seconds, you're kind of laughing. You're like, oh, it's at 30 seconds. But I mean, realistically, I mean, you know, last round, if I was going to make those chicken noises, you know, you just got to commit to it. If you're going to do it, you got to commit to it. And it's one of those things. And well,
you're right. I give you credit.
Out of the Coyotes, they flew out the side of the satellite and they did it. They committed to it. However, it's going to leave them in a 1 versus 2. Drewski was able to pop off in map number 1 despite the loss. However, here in the S&D, looking to go ahead and alleviate his team to a 1-1 tie in the rounds. Kranz challenges around the corner. Headshots come through. The QBZ remains strong and rains down the bullets of fire. Nukes being shot. Bubs looking for the player on the corner. It's a little bit of QBZ on QBZ action. I know it's hot and tasty. On a Monday night around the corner, the Peakers' advantage doesn't hold strong. The Iowa Hawkeyes take a 2-0 lead here inside of the rounds.
Well, I was just going to say, if there's a player you want to have in a 1v2 situation, it's probably Drewski, one of the star players here for the Coyotes, unable to get it done that time. But another strong showing here from the Hawkeyes. Big-time stuff on defense. Freeze there in the kill cam with a 2-piece. That's a pretty confident challenge to be taking. I'll say so myself. And yeah, you're making the chicken noises, man. I don't even want to give you my iteration of a chicken noise right now. I refuse to, actually, at this point. I just know I will embarrass myself. So
let's do it.
All credit to you.
I've already belted one out. Let's go ahead and hear you sing.
Like
I mean, we can have 30 seconds of time.
That's like a baby chicken, I think.
Bro, I don't know what that. Dude, what kind of chicken
rooster
have you grown up with?
None. That's how many.
Oh, jeez. Well, folks.
Probably didn't think you'd get this on the CCL tonight.
This is what happens when you have a 30-second pre-round timer and Cambert and McCormill on the call. But either way, slow offensive push here once again for the side of the Hawkeyes. The Coyotes just sitting back for a little bit of time once again. And, you know, we highlighted in round number 1. This is basically what you'll see in every single push. It's a standard push on Garrison for search and destroy, just very, very passive, waiting for your team to make that first mistake and then trying to capitalize upon it. Grand's up on the top, will slide across, and while Chickens Go Moo is rewarded for the pre-fire there, the Krig will go ahead and reign supreme and leave his teammates in a 4 versus 3 scenario. Great stuff there to start the round. Coyotes desperately needing a round win here. It's the difference between, obviously, a 2-1 and 3-0. I can do math, however, that's much bigger than you really might come to believe if you're a new fan to Search and Destroy or Call of Duty in general.
Brain games in the vent right now. Spark knows that Freeze is there. It's just a matter of when the challenge is going to come on through. Freeze just trying to confuse him a little bit, and so far it's working. Might have an opportunity to push ahead here. Nobody watching this cross. He's going to go for the kill on his Spark behind. He does get the brain game to work. Freeze with a huge kill in the vent. Chickens finds his second up top green. All of a sudden 2v3, but an opportunity to plant the bomb here. Franchise maybe trying to slow down that. He's going to do exactly that, and he finds the kill onto Freeze. It's a difficult situation here for Bubs. No time left. If you're the defense, go ahead and play hide and seek here.
Yep.
And that's going to do it.
You see Drewski all the way across the map over towards A. Player just playing his life in the vent. Not waiting, not wanting to push out. That's just beautiful stuff right there. I mean, you are in a 3 versus 2 already, Franchise. Although it's a bit ballsy to jump out around that corner there with a player that's up top bridge. You have no idea where that player is, but, I mean, realistically speaking, you're not expecting somebody to be watching over the planter if they are going for that plant initially. So, a great play from the Coyotes there. They go ahead and get their first round on the board, but more importantly, they go back to the offensive side to try and go ahead and maybe pull a sneaky fast one on the side of the Hawkeyes. We'll see what they do here. Have the adjustments come in? Can Bub stay alive on his 4-0 streak? And well, maybe work a little bit towards those streaks. 4-3, team high for the side of Coyotes. 4-3 and 4-0 from the side of the Hawkeyes lead the way here thus far. Inside of game number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, the Hawkeyes were able to grab an offense early on in this game, so we have to expect the Coyotes to do it the same at some point if they want to put themselves in a better situation. It's not easy to do by any means, but when is that crazy play call going to come out? How about crayons underneath the map here?
Pushing up passively. Knows that one's above there. Can he go ahead and find it? No, Spark's going to be able to take down Freeze. We got an underground view of that, and Spark, although he tried to go ahead and maybe find a kill there, was just laying down. I don't necessarily think he was trying to look for a player bottom tank, but fortunately enough for the player down below, he is going to be able to find the kills up top. Trusky, Krig in hand. Chickens go moo. Also a Krig in hand. Finds the kill there on the Kran, so makes it a 3 versus 2. The Coyotes once again have themselves an advantage here in terms of the life count. However, they don't have bomb in hand, and the players on the side of the Hawkeyes can just play in towards the back of their map, wait for the side of the Coyotes to get aggressive, and have to go for this bomb plant to go ahead and win the round. Bub still has not died here inside of the search and destroy. Toxic has not gotten a kill inside of the search and destroy. A tale of two stories, a tale of two cities. However, as Bubs comes around the corner, looks for another, finds a second here in the round, goes for one more. His teammate comes around the corner. It's going to be a 1 versus 1. Shots there. 7-0 in the search and destroy right now. I'm Bubs, the Bubble Man, going big for the Hawkeyes. He's making easy work of the Coyotes on the map right now.
I mean, just huge plays. Big time reads. The reach out onto Chickens go moves there. And then how about this for the third? That's going to be streaks, I believe, for Bubs. He's 7-0 to start this match.
Tasty.
And maybe on Garrison, you don't have a lot of opportunities to use him. But he does have that artillery. That could come in big at some point. If you're able to, I guess, get a plant down at A, that's obviously easier said than done. But just another big-time round for the Hawkeyes. They're down 2-3. Still able to get it done on the back of that 3-piece from Bubs. I don't know. I think if you're the Coyotes, again, you're going to have to win an offense at some point, but right now it starts with winning this defense.
Well, if one thing's for certain here, Cambert, it's that Bubs is feeling hot and sexy right now. He's looking to go ahead and continue his streak alive, but more importantly, go ahead and secure himself that cruise missile to go along with everything else. QBZ in hand. It's done him well thus far. It's been serviceable, to say the least. Ness Kranz is going to be pushing up in towards bottom middle. Franchise is going to be there. The shots over the top won't be able to find the kill. Oh, can't stay alive. Won't find the cruise missile in a very fast round. A flawless round indeed from the Coyotes. We'll go back to another 30-second intermission here as we get ready for the next round.
Yeah, like, what do we want to talk about? But no, I mean, for real. Big-time stuff from the Coyotes. The clean sweep. Now you have a long time to talk about what you want to do on offense. You need to win an offense at some point here. Do you try to do something obscure? Do you go towards A? Do you have a player try to go through the bottom of the map? Something different has to happen. You have to throw some kind of crazy play out there. Like we've said, there's a lot of time to talk about it here at this pre-round intermission. And I don't know. I think it's got to be a submachine gun player maybe who tries to get in behind. But like we talked about in the pregame, it's so difficult on Garrison to find any flank routes. Something has to happen here, though. Coyotes need an offense.
That, Cambert, is an understatement. They do need an offense. They've got to tie this game up, but more importantly, they lose this round. It's down to 4-2. Once again, another 2-round disadvantage would be, unfortunately, on their plates. A tall order for the waitress and a waiter, whatever it may be. You don't discriminate here. Franchise, though, over towards Dark. Looking over towards middle map. Sparks lays down below. Trying to go ahead and find a little bit of advantage positioning on the map. Iowa Hawkeyes, they're just playing passive once again. I know I beat this like a dead horse, but this is exactly what happens on Garrison. You just look for that first blood. The Hawkeyes get it on the defensive side. That does not bode well for a Coyotes team looking to go ahead and win their first offense of the game.
Right, I talk about how the offense might need to make a play here. It's actually the defense who gets a little aggressive there. Toxic slides on into green, finds first blood. Spark with a crazy angle. Even though we saw it off screen, had to be a crazy angle to find that kill onto Bubs. All of a sudden evens things up at 3 apiece. Gets a little bit more possible here for the offense. Spark, though, talk about him being the playmaker. He has to make another one here through mid. He's just barely not seeing Freeze there, laying down right below his sight line. Franchise thinking about making the push over here at B. He's going to get spotted by Crayons and Freeze. The sight lines are huge. The shots, though, aren't there. Spark gets the kill. Crayons there for the trade, but that's a big-time opening as well. All of a sudden, a 2v2 situation. Drewski falls top green. It's all up to Franchise here in a 1v2, and it's not going to happen. The Hawkeyes make the reads, and they shut things down again on defense. They go up 4-2, and it felt like for a second there, maybe the Coyotes were going to make something happen. But the reads here are just huge from Toxic, finding one top green, rotating back, and realizing Franchise is coming through square. Hawkeyes have this one where they want it.
Driver's seat position. Just like we have the driver's seat here for 30 seconds of our time. It hurts because, like, you know, you want these rounds to go by and you want them to progress and stuff like that. But again, like, you know, is this something that, like, realistically speaking, could be something we see maybe a little bit more as Call of Duty progresses? Obviously, we haven't had anything like it in years to where, you know, you have a little bit of time in between the rounds. But Camber, I mean, it's going to make it a little bit slower for us and the people watching. But if you are a player instead of a game in a match like this where there's a lot on the line, would you prefer to have 30 seconds of time before or in between each round to kind of decipher what the opposing team did and then what you could do in the next round to counter that? I mean, is that something that could be used in a really nice way for a lot of players and teams, or is that just something that is just going to be more of a nuisance?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's situational. Probably if you're in the lead, you'd rather have it. I think personally, yeah, I'd take it. Like, more time to talk about. You should be able to know exactly what every individual player in your team is doing at that point. You have 30 seconds to go ahead and tell each other about it. Tell each other how your day went. Bub's finding the kill onto Sparks. He's trying to play that vent position all game long. He's had a tough time on defense a couple rounds here in a row, and all of a sudden he's leaving his team in a 3v3 situation. I talk about how when it gets to these odd man numbers towards the later end of the round, that's an opportunity for the offense to try to make something happen. You got to pull out the clutch plays. Chicken's up top. Going to be holding things down at green, but the push is still over towards B.
Only team to win an offensive round here in this game has been the Hawkeyes, looking to do it once again here. 4 versus 2. In the round count. Chicken's go move up top, gonna get some shots into him. Bubs knows it, he's back over towards the left. The last shot is a headshot, it's gonna take him out clean and wipe him off the map. Franchise back over towards Light. Toxic, just trying to look for a couple of players pushing through. However, this 3 versus 2, gonna be a 3 versus 1. Now it's up to Franchise and the 1 versus 3 to go ahead and clutch things up. It won't matter. Pushes over towards Vents. It won't matter. Player down, man down. Hawkeyes, 5-2 advantage. 1 round away from putting this series at series 4.
It's clinical stuff on offense here. It's a map that's so difficult to win offense. The Hawkeyes are doing exactly that. Like, I think their ability to not worry so much about losing a life, especially if you're able to get one kill of your own, like, yeah, that's fine. We can get into a 3v3 situation. We're going to be in a much better spot. We can manage it a little bit more room on the map to get active and to roam free. That's exactly what they get there. 3v3 situation. They take advantage of the opportunity. They get some more map control, and they just beat the Coyotes in that round. It's huge stuff now because all of a sudden it's a closeout round. You're on defense. The Coyotes haven't had anything going for them on offense. It's not looking good here if you're USD.
Roaming around the map is exactly what the Coyotes want to do. Territorial beings as they are. But I can tell you one thing. One thing I do love is a little bit of free-range chickens. As he finds that first blood in the round, it's going to allow them to open this up just a little bit. Around the corner they go, but it's not Toxic, who's now on a 6 spree here in the Search and Destroy, trying to go ahead and best out Bubs, who was on a 7 spree at one point inside of the game, looking for streaks, but will they matter after this round if they go ahead and win it? Absolutely not, because obviously the game would then be over. Franchise, Sparks Lays, trying to go ahead and make this a reality on the offensive side. 2 offensive wins for the side of the Hawkeyes, 0 for the Coyotes thus far. All they've won is defenses, and it has not boded well for them here, as they've now got a 2 versus 2. They're trying to get this bomb down, but it might be a futile process, especially with the Hawkeyes, not the Hawkeyes, playing it towards the back very passively, trying to get that first pick, and more importantly, that round win, in-game win. You see Spark right there trying to like, preempt his teammate? That's information, and oh, well, that's not good.
Never the sound you want to hear when you're on the receiving end of it is the artillery comes through, doesn't find a kill. Big time stuff out of the offense. They're able to get the bomb down. Now they play the vent control. Bar trying to play the checks. Franchise holding down his flank. And you have to think here, if you're the defusing team, that you know there's got to be people in the vent. You can expect at least one of them, probably 2 of them. And they just have to think about how they want to make this play happen. Franchise is holding things down. Bubs gets the information on the Spark. He's able to get the challenge and win it. He knows the other player is in the vent, climbing on out. 12 seconds left to try to get the kill and the defuse. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. So a big-time showing here. With their back against the wall, the Coyotes win the offense, and they extend this game a little bit longer. Again there, you see how when you get in those 2v2 situations, those 3v3 situations even, the offense has a much better chance. There's more space on the map to make plays happen, and that's exactly what the Coyotes do there.
Right, the game clock. That's all it came down to. You have that 2 versus 2. Your teammate gets that first kill, and even though he gets traded out in the technical form, in that 1 versus 1, it's just 13 seconds left. You know the player in vent is going to try and get aggressive to find that last kill. You just play your life, sit behind a little pillar, sit behind a wall. He's not going to go for the defuse, and if he does, you can just come around the corner at about, 8 seconds left. Go ahead and find that kill that he's getting the defuse on, and Well, you're walking away with a round win. The Coyotes, there you go. There's an offensive round. That's exactly what you want to get back into this game. That's exactly what you need because you're going to have to win at least 2 more to go ahead and win this game number 2 to get yourself at a 1-1. Iowa Hawkeyes, though, they're going to be on a bit of a back foot now on the offensive side. Again, they've won 2 already, and it's a round that they feel like they have a good advantage in. However, the Coyotes, they've got 1 round on the board trying to complete this comeback. As Cambert said beforehand, backs against the wall. Diamonds are made out of pressure. What can the Coyotes do here in the last couple of rounds?
They'll definitely be looking for some diamonds. Finally, though, the first blood comes through for the defense this time. That's going to be huge, but Crayon's able to draw it back to even here at 3 apiece. All of a sudden, that slow play that we've been seeing in the start of these rounds goes right out the window. 2 kills in favor of the offense. That should create more space on the map to try to make a play happen. Freeze with the bomb and the submachine gun should be the player to do that as he's looking for somebody else to make a victim here. Up top, it's going to be Drewski. Gets the first line of sight. The second kill, don't make it 3. Drewski with the 3-piece up top. The Coyotes aren't done just yet. Big time play out of their star player here. And we get to see it in the kill cam. The first onto Freeze, the second onto Bubs, and he gets the line of sight onto Crayons and makes use of it. Big time 3-piece for the Coyotes. That might have been the play they needed. All of a sudden, they have some life in this one. They go back on offense, though, in a tough spot.
A young Drewski making a cornmeal squeal on a Monday night. Doesn't get much better than that. A hot little 3-piece to go ahead and keep them alive inside of this series. As I said beforehand, it's a tumultuous task getting out of that top green area over towards Satellite. All it takes is 1 man and a wrecking ball to stop the entire push, and that's what Drewski was right there. A wrecking ball that I'd happily sit upon like Miley Cyrus as we ride through the night. USD Coyotes, they win 2 in a row. The Hawkeyes up 5-4. A defensive round that they've won multiple times. The Coyotes, they won their last offense. Can they do it once again? Can they force the round 11?
Gonna have to have some kind of trick up your sleeve here. Spark goes back to that mid position that he's been in all game long. Freeze as well will go back to the laydown spot. Both teams are really gonna stagnate here and try to draw first blood on each other. Nobody wants to be the first one to fall. Nobody wants to overextend. Spark just waiting for someone to make the peak. It's not gonna happen. Franchise might think about getting in the vent soon. Maybe trying to play a nade check. But you can see how when it gets to this point in the game, nobody wants to be the first one to make the move.
Stand still. Bubs might have gotten some information of where Sparks might have been in the middle map. I believe that's why Sparks ended up backing off. And well, last time Sparks played that angle, he was laying down and got killed from bottom tank. However, that time, it's going to be the Krig in the back that goes ahead and finds those first couple of shots. Bubs goes ahead and tags up Spark once again. 30 seconds left here on the offensive side to make a play happen, to make a move happen. Bubs in the back. They're not giving any positioning up on the defensive side. They're just waiting for these players to push up. And while Spark is going to be able to get a crossover towards B, and I don't think they're going to be able to push out onto the site just yet. Should be able to get it down, but no, it's Kranz who finds 2 here in the round. 13 seconds left. Chickens go move hops up. Drewski, can he be the hero here once again? No, they both fall. The Hawkeyes, they'll clutch up after 2 rounds of the Coyotes. They'll take a round of their own. 6-4, the Hawkeyes clutch up the S&D, take a 2-0 series lead.
This is exactly why being on defense is so easy on Garrison Search and Destroy. You can just let the offense make the first move. Just go ahead and sit back, play the waiting game. Finally, they have to slide to the bomb. Crayons is able to easily get that kill. You can see why winning an offense early in Garrison Search and Destroy is going to be huge, but hopefully that's the last time we have to even talk about it because we're going to get a map change coming next week. And yeah, you can see the smiles on our faces because Garrison Search and Destroy is our favorite. No, we don't want to see it go.
Double row
secretly we do.
I can thank Cambert. If that was the last farewell that I'm going to get on that map, it was a good ride. A 6-4 win for the side of the Hawkeyes. Couldn't ask for much better. Folks, on the other side of a break, Garrison Control, a potential ending to this best-of-5 series, but more importantly, more Call of Duty action here for CCL Season 3. Split 2 is just heating up. It's week 7, day number 1. I'm a cornmeal. That's Cambert. We'll be back in just a Alrighty, it's time. Garrison Control, a map that I can actually, I guess, stand somewhat, or at least a mode on Garrison that I can somewhat stand. S&D, not the best. Control, though, it can be very, very entertaining, depending on how an offensive team is able to play the map. And if they don't get spawn trapped early on in the game, Crayons is there, going to be able to take down Franchise. Chickens go moo, going to be absolutely clucked to death right there. And as he comes around the corner, Drewski's there looking for a couple more kills, and I'm going to beat this chicken to death. I'm going to cut its neck off, and it's going to run around. Okay, that was just way too vivid.
Oh my goodness. It just took a violent turn there in the end. Taking the violent turn of the Hawkeyes now as they try to break out of their spawn. Drewski, big two-piece to start that off. Bubs in the vent trying to slow things down. Don't lose your neck like chickens go moo. Is either team able to grab much control of the map. Finally, the offense able to get onto point B. Some progress going up. Drewski finding all the kills. He's on a 5-6 kill streak out of nowhere, but the 7th won't be there. Freeze able to freeze that up for the time being. Both points starting to see some progress. It's going to have to be a decision soon here for the offense.
Or play number 3 in Sparkslaze. You mentioned it earlier on before we got into the control, how Sparkslaze is one of those guys that tries to get to the back lines of teams and really just cause a ruckus the entire time. However, 0-3 here in this map. He hasn't found his footing in this first round. However, it's still early in the game. B is going to be controlled for the time being. There it is. The test came through. However, it is the setup. Coyotes do come out strong and victorious on that point. They had an extra minute onto the clock. Rotation over towards the AS&D site, or rather the A control site, is going to be what we are going to focus our attention to. One of the hardest sites to control in all of Call of Duty, not just for control, but on this map specifically, as we talked about in the S&D, we saw a one-man wrecking crew from Drewski able to hold it down against 3 players. It's the same fate that the Coyotes might face here instead of this first round of control.
We talk about it in Hardpoint, how the easier way to make this happen is to rotate around through the bricks. That's what you see USD trying to do there, but it's not going to work out off the rip. Crayon's now going to try to force them deep into their spawn. Drewski with a big one there. That could have been the start to something detrimental there, as the spawn trap could have been coming through, but instead the Coyotes able to break on out here, not before Toxic finds 2. This round on offense starting to look more grim here for the Coyotes. You're down in lives. Haven't really set up anything over at A. You have no progress there, and you know that the long routes are probably what you have to go with. It's just better defense right now than there is offense.
Well, the good news is they have players pushed up into middle map. The bad news is you're down by 3 lives and only 30 seconds remaining to go ahead and even get an opportunity to contest that A point. Sparkslaze will get the first kill, looking for even more. Spark, there he is. A little bit of dip and dive there around the corner. Trophy system going to get shot out, but that's more importantly going to be the USD Coyotes getting onto the point. 3 players there. Point stack. 2 there on side of the point currently. They're going to go ahead and get 1 tick of progress. Now, the pushback from the Hawkeyes. Player number 8 middle map looking for player number 3 in Sparkslaze, trying to not be able to allow him and prohibit him from getting back over towards that A point. 2 ticks of progress. They're going to fly in. Cran's there trying to go. They come up from top satellite. Toxic is there. Drewski tries to find the kill. They'll do so, but the huge team kill comes through. 1 player versus a hell of a lot of players from the Hawkeyes switching through. A wrecking crew of players now pushing towards the hill. Freeze there, gets the first shots, but they're coming out of the satellite area towards top green. It's a Chickens Go Move finding the kill. Drewski there as well. 2 versus 2, pushing back to the points. It's all going to be on Chickens Go Move, finding these last couple of kills. Has to get on the point. He'll pop in for the time being. It'll stop the time. Semtex himself. Bubs laying down. Finds the shots. Out towards, once again, 3 lives remaining. Now make it 2. Now make it 1. The Hawkeyes somehow come away with the round win. It was push after push. Out the door they came, filing single file after another. The Hawkeyes, the defensive side, will clutch up in a wild round number 1.
That just got hectic at the end. My lord, what was even happening over at A? And we can see how, sure, it's difficult to break through and try to capture A, but once you are able to get on the point, you kind of flip things on their head, and all of a sudden you're the team that can put your setup down and kind of hold off the players coming from spawn. That's what the Coyotes tried to do. They made a really good effort at it. Towards the end there, it just becomes an all-out opportunity to flood onto the hill and try to play the kills. It doesn't happen. The Hawkeyes able to hang on there with dear life and come out with the win on defense. Big-time stuff. And we talk about how defense, again, here in control on Garrison is the more favorable side to be on. If a team can grab an offense, it's going to put them in a good spot.
That was a fun round to start off our Garrison control. Showing, again, the redeeming qualities of what Garrison can be for a control map and what it can be as a map in the rotation. However, this time the Coyotes, they've done a great job here on the defensive side early on, getting that first initial wave of kills down on the Hawkeyes and being able to force spawn them all the way back in towards those P3 spawns that we'll see in our hard points. Sparkslaze will find the kill there onto Crayons over towards that right side, but Freeze is pushed up under towards that bottom tank. Shots over the top. With that QBZ, we'll be able to tag him up, but won't be able to find that kill initially. 4 versus 4 over towards that B point. They're going to try and control that first, as it is, again, that easier zone to go ahead and contest, as well as go ahead and capture all the way through. But as Drewski plays a little sneaky, the angling not the greatest there. Freeze finds 2, Bubs finds 1. Now it's going to be a 1 versus 3 over towards B for Franchise all alone and towards Lights.
It's a big gunfight to win. It's not going to happen. And now all of a sudden, it's a big opportunity for the offense to get onto the point, Start to see a capture. Freeze, though, trying to hold things down by Square. He's going to find 2. He's on a kill streak of his own here, up to 5. Might have to start to play for those, because those could come in huge at A. He's going to find a 6th. All he needs is 1 more for the artillery. Throwing stuns, throwing nades, looking for the check. He's going to get the information there. Can he get the 7th to grab that artillery as his teammates capture B? That's going to extend this round. Oh, they were going to capture B before the contest comes through. Finally, they'll get it. That extends the round. The streaks aren't going to happen, though, for Freeze. That could be a difference maker as all of a sudden the focus goes to A. You have more time to do it.
Well, I will say, both streaks didn't happen. He did get the artillery barrage.
Okay.
Yes, so he got that 7 in a row, got the artillery barrage. That could be huge to go ahead and break over towards his B site. If you're going to use it, I would use it here on the offensive round when your team is in position. This is the reasoning. If you have the control on the offense, you know how easy defense is, or relatively easy it is on the defensive side to go ahead and win the round. So if you use it on the offensive side to win here and go up 2-0, theoretically, you're going to have a 2-0 advantage going back over towards the defensive side and being able to win off that round.
I agree with you. I think oftentimes you see players hesitant to call in their streaks. They're waiting for the right moment. But really, especially if it's only an artillery, there's never going to be a perfect moment. Yeah, sure, you might be able to get some players to move around and you could open something up to attack the hill. But oftentimes, I think you ought to just seize the moment when it comes to call in that streak, hope you can get a kill, and then maybe try to play for some more. Drewski, though, is just a thorn in the side of the Hawkeyes here. Pushed all the way up into tools. Not going to get a kill out of it, though. Big-time plays from a duo here in Crayons and his teammate Freeze. They're able to kind of bait and switch there to get themselves an opening to get out of his spawn, but the progress at A hasn't started to come through yet. You only have 15 seconds to make it happen. A big-time kill from Crayons as his teammates try to push to the front. Freeze is going to open things up, and now they're on the point.
Yeah, but play number 4 here could be a huge disruption. Flank from Drewski. We knew how good he was over towards top green in the S&D. Can he do it once again? Can he hold this out of the Hawkeyes back in towards their spawn? 1 versus 3 towards the point. Shot punch there from Freeze. Almost able to turn towards the second, but gets the kills. Drewski, Chicken, Spark, all there finding 3. Nobody home for the side of the Hawkeyes. Even for a contest, however, it flies to the point, but no one home. Hawkeyes won't be able to win that round. Tied up 1-1. The Coyotes with a defensive side as usual.
Yeah, and I think they're getting away with it, but you see how I even talked about before the match started, how Spark was going to be the player trying to get out behind enemy lines and be a nuisance. Drewski's been doing a lot of that as well. We saw him in tools there, unable to grab any kills. This is Freeze going on that streak in the kill cam, but I honestly think for the Coyotes, you got to start to be a little careful. You're getting a little bit too overextended to try to play for those spawn kills. At times, sure, that might seem like the way to do things, keep the pressure up and keep them in their spawn. Yeah, in theory, that works. But sometimes you overextend, you get picked up by 2 players. Freeze there, we're able to kind of tag team against Drewski, and you're just kind of throwing lives to the wolves. You don't want to do that in a lot of situations, especially on defense where you can kind of sit back, put a setup down, and let them come to you. Sure, I think a lot of times spawn trapping is the way players like to go, but sometimes you got to be careful with it. There's a short leash there.
Well, interesting push to go all the way out over towards A right off the rip. It doesn't pay off for them whatsoever. Unfortunately, 4 go down. They had the side of B, or rather the side of A, watched with QBZs and 74Us pushed up. And, well, Crayons is going to see every single person from the side of the Coyotes push over towards Dark, and now they can just wait for those players to push out. They've got them trapped from every corner. Look at the mini-map real quick. The Hawkeyes, every single arrow turned over towards Dark. They're just waiting for these spawns to come through, and unfortunately, player number 3 is going to walk directly into the trap as well. Spark Slays tries to push up the map. They've still got the kills. Bubs is going to find 2, and even though Drewski finds the kill, they're on to Bubs. He's also cornered, he's also trapped, and he'll also find his death quite fast, quite easily. Franchise up top, shots from Freeze, won't be able to find, but again, once again, it is the tags. 18-9 here, map number 3. 2-0 lead for the Hawkeyes in the series, 1-1 in the control as we go. 25 seconds left here inside of round number 3.
Freeze up to 19-10, absolutely huge, is finally trying to get some progress going at B. You have only about 10 seconds to do it. Crayons pushing up to continue the pressure on the spawns. It's not looking good for the Coyotes. It looks like the defense is going to hold strong again here for the Hawkeyes. 4 seconds left. There's no opportunity to get onto the point, and at this time, you're not going to want to throw your life away. Spark, though, will grab that kill instead. So the Hawkeyes win the defense. They do it in commanding fashion. They have the lives in their favor if it were to go to a round 5. All of a sudden, the Coyotes will be the next ones up to try to win another defense here. Crayons has been huge in this match. You're seeing it in the kill cam. A couple of streaks already to this point. Had the artillery and compounding it here in the next defensive round with a 5-piece kill cam.
I mean, I gotta tell you real quick, too. I mean, Cam, that was almost a perfect round from the side of the Hawkeyes, realistically speaking. I mean, it starts out with a very, very quick and easy shutdown of the Coyotes trying to push over towards that A site out through green. And after that, you saw Crayons push up, watch 3 players from the Coyotes all push up into dark. And then you saw every single player from the Hawkeyes continuously look over towards dark and count out all the lives that were getting taken off the board, all the players that had spawned up until everybody on the side of the Coyotes was down. And then they started their advance up to the next part of the map. I love that. That's great communication. That's great teamwork between the Hawkeyes, that they can continue to do that here on the offensive round. It's going to be much more difficult on offense. However, it's going to be great for them. They can go ahead and close this out here. Not only in a 3-0 sweep, but a 3-1 victory in the control.
It's going to be tough to win this offense, as they do have the momentum coming off that last round. Drewski down low, trying to find some kills to slow down the push. You know it's going to come through at B. A couple players in the vent maybe thinking about a flank. Instead, Drewski just going to play these power positions. 25 and 14, but how about the 21 objective kills as well? Not afraid to get on the point. Toxic and Crayons are going to find some kills, though. Now, all of a sudden, progress through at B. The spawns are deep for the Coyotes. Big opportunity to grab this point and extend the round.
Spark at a top green, looking to go ahead and make a flank play. Once again, being that back line for the side of the Coyotes, trying to go ahead and find these kills. He's got to get them quick, though, and got to be careful because he's got players number 5 and 6 going ahead and flying up towards Tools. Will turn around at the perfect time, finds one, escapes with his life. Now knows that there's a second player pushing from caution as well. So I'm just play this head glitch, rather play this positioning. Just wait for all these other players on the side of the Hawkeyes to go ahead and push up the map. Spark getting it taken down in the corner. Toxic is there to go ahead and find the kill. Up towards top green. Chickens go moo. Gatekeeping the back spawns for the Hawkeyes. This is not going to bode well and bode great for the side of the Coyotes, looking to go ahead and find lives on the board and kills off the board to give them defense in the next round. If the Hawkeyes aren't able to go ahead and pull out a win here on the offensive side, all this is doing is keeping it relatively close, and the Hawkeyes still have the advantage here. So Cambert, if this does go to a round number 5, which it looks like it will, the Hawkeyes are going to have that advantage.
Yeah, able to grab B and extend the round. All of a sudden, the big task is to get over to A and find that capture. 17-17 will be the life count. Drewski in the back trying to hold down the long routes. It's going to put some shots down towards Toxic, and it's going to force him to back up. His team's still trying to hit through the backside of Square and Lights, or into Bricks as well, I mean. Chickens up top by Green's going to fall. That's an opening for Freeze to try to get onto the point. Drewski's ready, though. The big-time reads and communication from his teammates will slow it down. Defense here holding strong. An opportunity to fly out and force the spawns. Drewski, 29 and 17, has just had his left stick stuck forward, non-stop sprinting towards the enemy spawn to find more kills. Spark will fall at the bottom. Maybe a chance to break out here if you're the Hawkeyes. You got to do it soon. You're down and alive, 30 seconds left. You still have to get A. It's not looking good.
Yeah.
You could be seeing around 5. It's not over just yet.
We'll say here, I guess the Coyotes must have heard me because they have turned this life count around a little bit in their favor. Spark Slays has started to dominate the map a little bit. Out of the last death he's had, it's been 4 to 5 kills ever since that point. Spark, 2 in a row. Franchise, 2 in a row. Up in the life count now by 6, looking for 7 and 8. Can they go ahead and find those last couple of kills? It's going to be not Toxic there, but Drewski finds 2. 11 to 4. Now make it 10 to 4. If you're the side of the Coyotes, at that point, even though you want to get more kills, I would have just played back if you have that 6 life advantage, but now it's going to be interesting. I don't have the exact stats from each individual round. It was the side of the Hawkeyes that did have the statistical advantage in terms of the kills for themselves going into this last round. Does 7 kills make the difference inside of this? I don't know. It was very close in those first couple of rounds, but I mean, I guess we're about to find out. Wow. Okay. That settles it. Hawkeyes, they'll have defense. Coyotes, they're going to be on offense. Hawkeyes, prime position to close this out in a game number 3, map number 5 for a 3-0 sweep. Can they do it here? 30 lives on 30 lives. Coyotes looking to stay alive in this best-of-5 series.
It's a pretty good opportunity to make it happen here on defense. It's going to be a tough one for the Coyotes. Can they make the improbable happen here? I think we got to start at B, as always. You got Chickens here, trying to look over his teammate Drewski, who finds the first kill, able to start some time onto B. Now trying to play for more kills. Instead, Toxic will get in behind and start to push towards spawns. Both players on enemy teams pushing each other's spawns. It's Spark here, being a nuisance, finding Crayons. The second, though, is Bubs, who gets him from the Lights. That's huge for the defense to get that player out of your spawn. Now you can focus on the task ahead, continue to maintain map control, and slow down the offensive push here for the Coyotes. It's not going to be easy again here for the Coyotes as they try to move up and towards mid.
Drewski. Slow, steady. trying to win that foot race across the map. The Semtex will go ahead and pair nicely with this push up and towards top green. He cannot figure out for the life of him how to get up top. Right now, I bet he's going, please, for the love of God, don't be on the broadcast. But don't worry, Drewski. We capture your best moments and we capture your worst moments here. And that is because we have some of the best observers in Call of Duty to go along with production.
Definitely been more good than bad, though. 35 and 20. I think he's got that to take away from it. He makes it 36. And he has been the one in deep, being a nuisance, being a problem, a player that the Hawkeyes have to constantly keep in the back of their mind. As he team kills Spark, that's not going to help. The nade comes through from Toxic and gets him off the point. And this could be the closing moment for the Hawkeyes, if not for Chickens Go Moo. My goodness, a big two-piece to keep his team in it.
Well, not only that, but life's tied at 17 apiece. A minute on the clock now for the side of the Coyotes. All it takes is one good push from the side of the Coyotes to go ahead and get 4 down on the Hawkeyes. And then they've got themselves the A-point. Freeze pushing up, looking for the player in the corner, was able to see him. Drewski some shots onto him, doesn't fall there, somehow stays alive. Remember though, Freeze still has that streak, saved it for the very end here. Now it's gonna be a 3-man push, they're all on the point. Here comes the stack, the contest comes through. 2 down, pinstripe kill feed. Drewski around the corner, Toxic over the top. Stops the push for now. Back towards the respawn block, 50 seconds. They've got about 2 more good pushes before they've got to start just flooding the hill extremely chaotically, just like they did in round number 1. Bubs in the back, looking for the push through middle. Freeze is there with 1. Freeze is there looking for 2, not able to find it, but there's Bubs with the kill there. On to Chickens Go Moo. Drewski pushes out. Drewski finds the kill. The trade should come through here in just a moment. Grands over towards the top, isn't able to find those shots. However, Sparkshlaze comes through finding the kill. Trades technical as they stand. Franchise up top, here they come. Onto the A-point. They've got 1 there. Now make it a second. Franchise and Drewski both find kills. But remember, Freeze has the streak to use. Here it comes, raining hell from above. 22 seconds left. They still stop the progress. However, they've got to get out of that point if they want to even have a chance at getting back in towards that point after the streak comes through. Player number 7 in Bubs, pushing around the corner. Chickens Go Moo up top. Not going to be able to find those shots that can test through. Franchise is there, but it's going to be Bubs who finds an initial kill. Toxic finds 2. They're back to the respawn. 15 seconds left. The last lives for the side of the Coyotes. 3 there, 6 alive. Now just 2 for the Coyotes. It's all over. The Hawkeyes, they've done it. The 3-0 sweep. The team that was a little bit of the underdog coming into this best-of-5 series takes it from the Coyotes. 2 complete upsets here today on the Alpha Stream.
All it took was just split 2 for these teams to completely turn up. All of a sudden, the underdogs coming out on top so far tonight. Freeze holds on to those streaks until the very last moment, and although he doesn't find a kill with them, it forces the offense to get inside bricks. That leads to more kills for the defense. It really did come up big in the end. I know I mentioned that maybe you call it in right away. No. Freeze said, I'm going to hold on to it, keep it in my back pocket for that very last moment. And boy, was it the deciding factor in that one. Goes to round 5. What more can you ask for? But again, it's the Hawkeyes here keeping the trend alive. The underdogs coming out on top. Give the Coyotes credit. They really fought hard in that one. It was 3 close maps. But in the end, Hawkeyes just that extra step ahead. They showed up a little bit more prepared today, and that's also been a trend.
Maybe the Hawkeyes had a bit more of a difficult division than the Coyotes, but realistically speaking, I mean, you got to look at the series score for every single game. I mean, 250 to 186. It was a relatively close game all the way through. The Hawkeyes were just able to pull ahead on that raid hardpoint by just a smidge at the end of the game. The Garrison search and destroy. It's Garrison. Bronze are going to bounce back and forth. That's just how it is. That's tradition as it stands on Garrison. 6-4 again. So as we just saw, the end of a map number 5 or map 3, game 5 there. I mean, again, it was a close series. It was a really fun and compelling series as well. The Hawkeyes were just able to pull out. And again, split 2 is the most important part for these teams to go ahead and find themselves in playoffs and giving them the most advantageous, I guess, positioning to get into playoffs, or even if they don't make that top 4 cut, they're still going to be in those regionals. So Cambert, Coyotes, that's a big loss. For the Hawkeyes, that's a huge win. And for this stream, that's the end of map number 2, series number 2 here on the Alpha Stream. Week 7 of CCL Season 3, just beginning though. It's day 1. We've got 1 more game left here coming up next. Not only is it going to be 2 more teams starting off split number 2, it's going to be the side of the University of Oregon taking on Grand Canyon University Black. Folks, don't go anywhere. On the other side of this break, myself and Cambert will walk you through all the action as we take on 1 more best of 5 series here on the Alpha Stream.